Hey everybody, Vincent Ayala with Barco. Here today to talk to you about inputs. So let's jump in the software and check it out. I'm going to show you how to set up some input configuration. We'll talk about auto creation, how to set up single and multiple connector inputs, and finally, adjust their settings. We've simplified our input creation scheme to make the setup more straightforward and hopefully easier to understand and use. One of the awesome new features of EventMaster version 10 is our auto creation feature. Anytime you connect a live input to the unit, we'll create an input configuration for each individual connector. If you require a group input that uses more than a single input connector, you may want to create the group input before connecting the input cables to the unit. We'll cover group input creation later in the video. To bring you up to speed, I have a live unit with a standard config set up here in the studio with me. Let's start by setting up a single connector input. Creating a single input is as straightforward as plugging the cable into the back of the Encore3. As you can see, as I plug this connector in, the corresponding connector in the GUI will turn green, and EventMaster will create the input config for me. Alternatively, I can create the input config before plugging the cable into the chassis by selecting the port and clicking the Add button. This will create the config, and the port will turn red, indicating that there is no signal coming into the chassis. Once I patch the input, it will turn green and we are ready to go. Now, if I select that or any other input, EventMaster Toolset will show us our contextual palette. Let's take a quick look at this window. We can adjust the input name, change the color imagery, save the HDR data, and perform an HDMI 2.0 reset here. We'll walk through the other settings a little bit later in the video. Alternatively, we could select multiple connectors and click the Add Multiple, which will create an input file for each individual connector. We can open that contextual palette for each input and see they are created as individual inputs, not multi-connector inputs. All right, let's close our input and let me show you how to make an input with multiple connectors known as a group input. We'll select two connectors for this one and we'll hit Add Single. It adds it as a group input. We'll go through the settings here. We'll scroll down. We can look at our EDID format and color or adjust the mapping. So if we want to do a horizontal or vertical array, we adjust these radio buttons and that's it. We're all set. We can now utilize those inside of our programming page as inputs, sources, and/or backgrounds. All right, as always, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to email us at encore3@barco.com. Thanks and take care.